the sky. You talk big, but your words are hollow. Try to lead the pack, but you can't follow. Damn right, I'm an asshole. Play the game, I'll take control. Fuck around, you'll be filled with hoes. Come around, looking low. That's right, I'm an asshole. Find out if you're feeling bold. Find out. Like fire, this is like steel. I don't fake it, I keep it real. Cross my line, you'll face the storm. I'm a hurricane in its purest form. I got plenty of attitude to share. Step up if you really dare. Damn right, I'm an asshole. Play the game, I'll take control. Fuck around, you'll be filled with hoes. Come around, looking low. That's right, I'm an asshole. Find out if you're feeling bold. Hear the countdown roll. Mess with me and you'll lose your soul. No apologies, no regrets, no shame. You started it and now we're playing the game. You disappeared into the void, swallowed by the dark. No sign, no remembrance. Damn right, I'm an asshole. You challenge my wrath, no mercy. Nowhere to run, you played with fire and got burned. Now you're getting a little more than yearn. I forewarned you. Click, clack, bang, no, we ain't the same. We out here laying our claim. Don't be mad, you're a lame. No sunshine on your dick, cross my path, get riddled to shreds. Best believe, no sweat off my brow. Asshole. Damn right, asshole anthem.
Hello, everybody. So, welcome to the Patriot X podcast. My name is Jason. So, today I had a whole episode planned, but we're going to do a little bit different today. I just want to do a little bit of talking today about a few things. First of all, before we get started, I want to my brain ain't working today. Anyway, I want to just go over some sponsor stuff. If you guys like coffee, please go check out blackoutcoffee.com. Use code ThePatriotX. They have tons of different coffee, great stuff. I drink it myself, not at the moment, but I do. They have a bunch of different flavors. They have K-cups. They have whole bean coffee, ground coffee. They even have instant coffee. So if you guys want some really good coffee, veteran owned, American company, go check them out. Blackoutcoffee.com. Use code ThePatriotX. Also, we have a sponsor with Mad Viking Beard Company. MadVikingBeard.com, and same code. Use code PatriotX. I've been using their stuff for about the last month or so. Love it. Face feels good. Like, even if you shave, you don't get razor bumps and stuff. They have like 16 different scent profiles. I have been using the Valhalla. It smells good. It's really nice on the skin. So if you guys are looking for anything like it, they even have shaving products. They have body soaps. I've been using the beard wash and conditioner, and beard lotion. Stuff's great. But yeah, go check them out. MadVikingBeard.com. Use code the Patriot X. All right. Also, the announcement that I have is I have officially launched 3 books on Kindle. I've been working on a 5-part series. I had 3 of the books already done, and they are now on Kindle. Uh, oops, hold on. Wrong screen, wrong screen, wrong screen. Give me a second. There we go. Alright, so first one, Dark Side of the Federal Government, Volume 1 is the CIA edition. Volume 2 is all about DARPA. And Volume 3 is about COVID. Um, I'm hoping to have the other 2 done pretty soon. Um, Volume 4 is UFOs, aliens, UFOs, and time travel. And Volume 5 is going to be all about Epstein. So those are coming hopefully pretty soon. But right now on Amazon, if you search The Patriot X, they'll come up. It's the first 3 books. If you're a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, they are free to read, or you can purchase them for $12.99. So yeah, if you guys would please go share the books, get them out there. I'd love for people to read them, check them out. Um, I've worked a ton on these books, and so yeah, I mean, if you guys can go read them, check them out, share them, any of that stuff, that would be super, super appreciated. All right, let's go back over here. All right, so next week I plan on doing an episode about Abraham Lincoln and about um, the reason that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, and kind of an interesting story. And I've found some other stuff as I read and did a little bit of research on that. So um, that episode is going to be next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. As for this week, I was gonna do that episode this week, but the other day driving home, I just kind of realized a few things that I just kind of wanted to do this episode on the fly, and it's about truck driving and truck driving in general. There's a lot of a lot of things involved with driving a truck that I don't think a lot of people realize, and it's things that honestly have affected me in my life personally, and it just kind of got me thinking about how truck drivers are seen, and like what actually happens um, in the trucking industry. Uh, first thing, first thing that kind of got me thinking about this is recently down in Tennessee at Pilot. Sorry, I almost said Lowe's. Pilot in um, Cleveland, Tennessee, I think, at exit 20, I 75, exit 20, right before you get into Chattanooga. Pulled in there a couple weeks ago, bunch of police there, ambulances, or police and fire were there, EMS was there, and come to find out, a driver had passed away in his truck. And I, from what I understood, the driver was in his truck for several days before they ever even found him. And it got me thinking about like a lot of truck drivers, we live a life of solitude. And even more so for somebody like me because my circle is extremely small. I don't talk to a whole lot of people. Um, I talk to my fiance obviously every day. I have like one friend that I talk to on an actual regular basis, and that's really it. Beyond that, I train now, so there's a lot of times I have a trainee with me, but before that, I spent all my time alone in a truck. It's an extremely lonely existence. Um, I mean, the only way you have any contact with people really is, sometimes at random you might stop and BS with somebody at a truck stop or, something like that, or, you know, on the phone. I get to talk to people on the phone occasionally, but in general, like, you don't really talk to people, you don't see people, you don't really make any kind of connections with people. The other part to that is it can be extremely hard on relationships, you know. Even like for me, I don't drive technically over the road anymore. I am considered a regional driver. I'm home every weekend. And even being home every weekend, like, I'm gone all throughout the week. I don't get the luxury of sleeping in my own bed. I don't get to be here and hang out with my fiance. Like, I don't get to go and do the things that most people get to do. And even when I'm home on the weekend, that like the people here kind of suffer with that too because one of two things happens. Either I have 900 different things that I have to do while I'm home on the weekend, or I'm so tired that I just lay around and don't do nothing the whole time I'm home, and it's it can be hard on a relationship, and even in the past, there was times I was gone 2, 3 weeks at a time, and there were times in the past where like my ex-wives rode with me or whatever, but that wasn't all the time. It's if you have kids, you miss out on a lot. You miss birthdays, you miss holidays, you miss seeing things, you miss watching them grow up, all to do a job that most people are incredibly ungrateful for. Truck drivers are basically looked at as like some of the lowest people, but I mean, we're not. We're people just like everybody else. We have feelings, we have goals in life. I know I do. I have a lot of goals in life, and you know, I'm smart. I'm not just some dumb dude that all I know how to do is drive. I build cars. I work with tons of tech stuff. I mean, hell, 3D printing. I build consoles. I finally got my desk set up. That right there is a video microscope for working on game console boards. That right there is a heat station like for heating up soldering joints and stuff like that. I can work on game consoles. I can do all that stuff. Um, there's a lot of things that I know how to do. But transitioning from driving a truck to doing something local is extremely hard because, for example, where I live at here in Kentucky, most of the jobs don't pay all that great. And, granted, me doing the regional position that I have, the pay isn't spectacular, but it's better than anything that I can find around here. So you get kind of stuck in that loop of, well, I don't want to be on the road anymore, but you're kind of stuck with it because you can't just leave and go find something else to do. That was one of the motivations for me starting college. That's a whole other issue that I'm currently dealing with at the moment. But you know, how I've managed to do it, I don't know. But managed to stay on honor roll. I've made president's list for 2025 and 2026. I made honor society, and it's been a struggle. Like I've had, you know, I work 60, 70 hours a week away from home, plus and still managing to do school and stuff. You know, I got lucky enough that I was able to figure it out, but a lot of drivers don't know how to do that. You know, so you're stuck in this cycle of driving a truck. Like you get you'll hear these drivers, oh, I've been out here 30 years. Well, why have you been out there for 30 years? Some of them do it because they love it. There's a lot of us that do it because we're kind of stuck in it, and it's not fun. And over the last, you know, 10 years, last 5, 6 years especially, since COVID, um, it's just gotten even worse. Driving a truck is not fun anymore. Um, it's dangerous. Um, it's lonely. You spend all your time in all these random places, you know, and it's not fun. It really isn't. Um, so I mean, if you know a truck driver, say hi. Hell, there's times, hell, the other day I got home and I park at a local truck stop here and pulled in, was sitting there getting my stuff together and waiting on my logs and all that stuff. And the driver next to me just rolled down his window and started talking to me. And I sat there and talked to him. You know, I, I've had a trainee the last month, but my trainee had already left to go home and you could tell he was lonely. So, he was an older gentleman, probably in his 60s. Sat there and talked to him. It doesn't hurt to have a conversation with him. Most truck drivers are friendly. Hell, some are overly friendly. Kind of comes along with being stuck in a truck all day by yourself. You don't talk to nobody. So there's some truck drivers that'll sit there and talk your ear off for an hour. But I don't think a lot of people understand like how much that makes a truck driver's day because like we don't have regular interactions with people like everybody else. Um, and back to the kids part, like I don't have kids of my own. I've raised kids. I've raised 4 girls, and there's a whole lot that I missed out on with them. Like while I was, you know, being a step parent or whatever you want to call it, and I always hated that. Like, and if I would have had my own kids, it would have been the same way. And it makes you think like how many truck drivers miss out on the lives of their kids, the lives of their family in general, their spouses, their girlfriends. You know, we miss a lot of things. Um, and it's not even just family. I have a Mustang that I'm trying to build. I've literally had the parts for that car to build it for a year and a half almost. Haven't even touched it. I go over there and start it every now and then, but I don't ever have the time. And here lately, when I do have the time, I get home on the weekend. It's raining, so like we don't have a bunch of free time. Um, and that translates into like we don't have time for anything. We don't have time for families. We don't have time for projects. We don't have time for anything. And like with me or people like me that do any of the things that I do, it's even worse because like I come home on the weekends. I have schoolwork and stuff I have to do. You know, I'm trying to do this podcast. Granted, this podcast doesn't really take me much time, usually less than an hour one day a week. So, I mean, it's not that bad. But, any of my other stuff, I have schoolwork to do after I'm done here, and it's probably going to take me minimum a couple hours. So, what have I missed? You know, me and her could have been doing something, or even if it's as simple as sitting down there watching a movie, just hanging out together. So I guess my point is just everybody thinks that truck driving. It goes one of two ways. Either people think that we're all just trash and that we do it because we're stupid and that's the only thing we can do, or they over glorify it like, oh, it's so amazing and you get to see all this stuff. No, you don't. I mean, yeah, you see a lot of interstate. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some cool things over the years, but there's it's not as glamorous as what everybody makes it out to be. You deal with a ton of headaches, and the thing that annoys me the most about it is truck drivers get screwed daily, day in, day out, um, and mostly on pay. You know, um, I don't remember when it was instituted, so I'm sure somebody will possibly have something to say about it. But I don't know when it was instituted. But whenever they went to mileage pay has screwed truck drivers over for many, 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 many years. Um, the reason for that is, yes, as long as my truck is moving, I get paid. But what happens to all of that time in between? You know, and we won't even get into the overtime pay yet, but sitting at shippers, sitting at receivers, anytime I get pulled in to have a DOT inspection, um, anytime I get held up in traffic, um, stopping to get fuel, none of that stuff is paid. So, if I go in the morning and I go to try and get loaded, say my appointment's at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I show up there 8:45 ish, and it takes me 5 hours to get loaded. Two things have happened. One, my clock has started, and there's no way to stop it because the company that I work for doesn't allow split sleepers. So, because most people don't know how to use it correctly and they go into violation. So, we don't use split sleeper where I am at, which means as soon as I start my clock, it's going. So, I sit at that shipper for 5 hours. I burned 5 hours off of my 14-hour clock. And The second part to that is I sit there for 5 hours. I don't get paid. We do have detention where I work. It starts after 2 hours, but to be honest, it doesn't really pay that much. I sat and unloaded at an Ollie's bargain store for 6 hours one day. I think I made like $38. Granted, better than nothing, but $38 to sit there for 6 hours, not that much. Um, and the thing is, I'm not getting paid, but everybody else is. The people that are there unloading it are getting paid. The people that dispatch the load, brokers, everybody in between is getting paid, except for me. And that's just one example of one place. If I sit in a fuel island for 45 minutes waiting to get fuel because nobody knows how to move their truck, I'm there. I'm working. I am on the clock waiting, yet I don't make nothing for that. If I get pulled into a weigh station, I sit there for an hour getting a level one inspection. I'm not getting paid for that. And in that situation, I am literally on the clock. You have to be on duty, not driving, during an inspection. So I am legitimately on the clock working, but I don't get paid for that. I work 60 to 70 hours a week. Truck drivers on mileage pay are not allowed any sort of overtime pay. It's straight mileage from the time I leave here Monday to the time I get back here Friday or Saturday. The only thing I get paid for is mileage, unless I get some kind of detention or whatever, like I said before. But overtime is not a thing in truck driving. So even though I work 60, 70 hours a week, I might get paid what somebody making 30 some dollars an hour gets paid. Like I can tell you. So let's see, divided by, well, I'll average it out, 60 hours. I make the equivalent, working 60 hours a week, I make the equivalent of $20 an hour, right around that area. Sometimes less, sometimes a little more. That's based on about what my average pay is divided by 60 hours a week. It comes out to 20 an hour. But in reality, if I work 60 hours a week, let's see, uh, if I was to make $35 an hour, hourly pay, and got paid for all of my hours with overtime, my pay would literally be double. I'd make about $2,500 a week. And 35 might even be a little bit high, but you figure even $30 an hour, that's probably 2 grand a week. And 30 an hour is not really that unreasonable, not for what we do. Hell, I'd take 30 an hour straight time for those hours. That's $1,800 a week, and that's without any overtime. Um, so I mean, I really think that there should be some kind of push to transition truck drivers into hourly wages. I think it would help tremendously, and that contributes to a lot of different mess that we have in the trucking industry. Just like the ATA, which is corrupt as hell, but and they're the ones that push these narratives about having driver shortages. It's not a driver shortage. The driver shortage is that you have plenty of CDL drivers that could drive, but they're not willing to drive for the pay because you're basically getting ripped off day in and day out. And that is where the driver shortage is. It's not a shortage of actual licensed CDL drivers that could do the job. It's shortage of drivers that are willing to do the job for less money, and I'm right there with it. I do it kind of because I have to, and I'm kind of biding my time until I finish school and all that stuff. And then, once I finish school, I'll be at my 25-year mark for driving, and I'm done with it, and that's why I decided to do school. Well, that's one of the bigger reasons why I decided to do school. There's other reasons as well, but you know, I'm tired of being away from home. There's a lot of things that I would love to stay here and do, and I don't get a chance to do those things because there's just not enough hours in the day. This weekend, I had a lot of plans. Um, you know, oh, I forgot, by the way, I will not be doing an episode next week. It'll be the following week, which is the second. Next week, we are going to North Carolina, so I will not even be home. I forgot about that. Um, but we have to go to North Carolina next weekend. I still got to look over my truck before we go. Haven't had time. So, you know, there's just a lot of things that we miss out on. We miss out on having a life. We miss out on having good relationships because we're not here to build a relationship with anybody, whether it's friends, spouses, kids. Like, we miss out on a lot of things. Um, that's just something that I was thinking about the other day, and it kind of hit me, and I kind of wanted to do this episode for that, you know, and talk about that stuff before I kind of forgot, some of my points. Um, but yeah, I it's something I've dealt with for 22 years. This I've got about a month and a half, and I'll hit my 22-year mark that I've been doing this shit. And that's just some of my thoughts on it. And as time goes on, we'll definitely do more episodes on truck driving and probably do some reaction videos with some of the dumb videos you see. Something kind of like what Bonehead Truckers does. We'll go and watch some of the stupid shit that some of these drivers do. It's pretty funny sometimes, but sometimes all you can do is shake your head at it. But I do have some other episodes coming that are not truck driving related. Like I said, on the second, the plan is to do one about Abraham Lincoln and the reason why he was assassinated. One episode coming up pretty soon. I don't know if that's going to be the 9th or the 16th because I got to do a little bit more research on it. But one of the episodes coming up here pretty soon is going to be simulation theory. That'll be an interesting one. Um, it's something I caught an episode on the Y Files one day about that. Got me thinking about a lot of shit. It was very, very interesting. So I'm doing a little research on that. So that'll be one of the episodes coming up here pretty soon. Um, and if you guys have any suggestions for upcoming shows, throw them out there. I'm always open to new ideas for a lot of things, shows, books, anything. Um, and I can cover a ton of ground on a ton of topics. So if you guys have any suggestions for a show that you'd like to see, throw it in the comments and I'll look into it. Um, if you guys see some random news that maybe just doesn't hit a whole lot of headlines in anything, politics, trucking industry especially, like there's a lot of stuff that I don't see that gets thrown out into the wild that doesn't really get a whole lot of headlines. So I mean, if you guys catch something on that, throw it my way. We'll talk about it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm attempting to try and make this show more consistent. Like I said, it goes back to what I said in the episode. It's hard to have the time. So I know the episodes haven't been consistent week after week. I am working on that. It's just trying to get all of my ducks in a row to where I have the time to actually sit down here and do that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Maybe give you guys a little bit to think about when it comes to truck drivers. If you would, please check out the sponsors, blackoutcoffee.com and madvikingbeard.com, code PatriotX. And please, 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 if you guys are interested in the books, please go check them out, read them, share them, tell your friends. And like I said, if you're a Kindle subscriber or Kindle, if you're on Kindle Unlimited, they're free right now. So please go check them out. Please share them. And I hope you guys have a great week coming up. And I will check back in with you guys with a new episode on the 2nd. Hope you have a great night.
Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. I walk the streets with a head held high, sharp tongue like a blade slicing through the sky. You talk big, but your words are hollow. Try to lead the pack, but you can't follow. Damn right, I'm an asshole. Play a game, I'll take control. Fuck around, you'll be filled with hoes. Come around, lock and load. That's right.